Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to another class on 20th century Malayalam literature in translation. So, today I want to introduce to you this novella named Mist by M.T. Vasudevan Nair. In Malayalam, it is called Manya. You might be familiar with this particular novella I am talking about. I'm really delighted to introduce this wonderful piece of literature to you. And let us embark on this journey of learning Mist, which is prescribed for you by the University of Kerala in your syllabus, in your BA English syllabus. Let us start by learning a little bit about M.T. Vasudevan Nair, our author. So he's popularly known as M.T. He is extremely famous in Malayalam literature. He is one of the most eminent novelists of the post-independence Malayalam literature. We can definitely say that. And for 6 decades and more, M.T. has remained as a powerful stalwart for Kerala's reading public. Whoever is a reading person in Kerala, they couldn't skip M.T. Vasudevan Nair's writings. He has written many short stories and novels. And what can be noted about M.T.'s fiction is that his language is unique. He uses a kind of a natural Valluvanadan language, the kind of language that is spoken in a little bit of northern Kerala. And always his sagas, his novels are sagas of familiar stories of yesteryear Nair households. That's what he portrays in most of his novels. And in most of his novels, we can actually see that the protagonist is a male, probably belonging to one of these regions, a Valluvanadan region. Now, he captures the heart and soul of the reader by his portrayal of such familiar stories. And all his characters, they are remarkable for their cynicism and bitterness too. They are not extremely happy individuals. He successfully finds them at their bitter best, and he portrays them like that. And about M.T., he was born in Kudallur. Kudallur is in the banks of the river Nila. So he was able to capture the ethos of his village, Kudallur, and the Valluvanadan local landscape and language in his novels. So it had a formative influence in his writing style and also the themes. And most of his novels are also set in this Valluvanadan region. So he successfully captures the beauty and simplicity of the village in his novels. Many of his contemporary novelists, they wrote about social conflict. They were basing their writings on the theme of social conflict. Whereas M.T.'s conflict is internal rather than external. He always placed his characters as having conflicts within themselves. So the conflict of man and his inner self, it always interested M.T. very much. So usually M.T.'s protagonists are men, as I mentioned. They are out of society and at war with themselves. But in this particular novella we are reading now, Mist or Manya, we can find a female protagonist. This might be the only novel he has written with a female protagonist. And his famous works are Nalugettu, Asuravittu, Manya, Kalam, Vilapayatra, Randamulam, etc. And I'm pretty sure that every one of you have read at least one work by M.T. as students of literature from Kerala. So let's talk about this particular novel, Manya or Mist. So it was published in 1964. So it's a novella. You can't say that it's a complete novel because it's not as long as a novel. So it was written in a different genre by M.T. He was trying out something different. He usually writes short stories and long novels, but this is like a short novel he wrote. And another important feature about this particular novel is that all his other novels, except for except for maybe Randamulam. All his other novels are set in the Valluvanadan region of Kerala. But this particular novel is set in a different locale. So this is actually set in the hill station of Nainital. And this is the only novel by the author with a female protagonist, as I have already mentioned to you. And in this novel, he has used very minimal characters. It is set in the backdrop of a beautiful hill station, but at the same time, it is also an intimidating place to be. It's foreign to Malayali readers. We don't quite understand what this location is. We haven't been introduced to a region like this in our reading experience at that point of time in the 60s when it first came about. Especially in MT's writings, we have never seen such a foreign locale like this. So in this particular novel, he recites the story of Vimala, a school teacher. Let's go on and find out what Mist is all about. So let's talk about the setting once again. I told you that it is set in the hill station of Nainital. Nainital is a hill station in Uttarakhand state, and Nainital literally means Naini is another name for the goddess Parvati, and Tal means lake. Naini, again, Nena actually means I. So there is a mythological belief that while Lord Shiva was carrying the body of his consort Parvati, while he was carrying his wife's body, her eyes fell out to this place, and the lake in the middle of Nainital is actually her eyes. അപ്പോൾ പാർവതി ദേവിയുടെ ശരീരം ഇങ്ങനെ ശിവൻ ക്യാരി ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് പോകുന്ന സമയത്ത് ആ കണ്ണ് അവിടെ താഴെ വീണ് ആ കണ്ണാണ് ഒരു തടാകമായിട്ട് മാറിയത് എന്നൊരു ഐതിഹ്യമുണ്ട്. So it is just a mythological belief. There used to be a Naini, a temple devoted to goddess Naini, but there was a landslide many years back, and that temple actually got washed away. So let's meet our protagonist. Our protagonist, as I mentioned, is Vimala. Her name is Vimala. She's a school teacher. So according to MT, this is a novella. It is based on the life, bitter experiences, and the long wait of a resident school teacher, Vimala, in the silent and beautiful town of Nainital. So, when we first open the novel, when we first read the novel, we are quickly invited to the life of boredom and slow pace lived by Vimala. So we find her in her hostel room. So she is, in addition to being a school teacher in Nainital's one of the boarding schools for girls in Nainital, she is also the hostel warden. So we find her lying in the room, and she's not doing anything. There's a lot of inaction going on here. She's just lazy, and there is not much of action going on around her, and she's lying in her room. We can listen to the cries of cicadas. Sound, it's loud and inviting to her. So we can definitely say that this is part of her life, living life with inaction. That is part of her life. We can definitely see that reading the first pages of this novel. Then we get to know that it is vacation time now. So we can infer that it is the month of April. It is the start of summer. So all the girls in Vimala's boarding house, they have gone home for summer, except for one girl named Reshmi Vajpayee. When all her friends left home, she didn't go with them. So she claimed that she was waiting for her brother to come and get her. So she knocks on Vimala's door, and she says that my brother has come. I want to go home with him. So it is late. It's a little late. And Vimala takes one look at Reshmi Vajpayee's brother. Now, Reshmi Vajpayee is a dusky-skinned girl. She's not that fair in complexion. But the man who came to pick her up, he is extremely fair-skinned, and he has blue eyes on top of that. Now, Vimala, it becomes very clear to Vimala that this is not her brother. This must be her lover, her boyfriend. And instead of stopping or blocking Rashmi, who's a 16-year-old girl, even though Vimala knows that Rashmi is going to have a private rendezvous with her husband, no, sorry, not her husband, her lover, this guy, she lets the girl leave because she wants the girl to experience the adventure of love and life. She even thinks that at the age of 16 this little girl is going to become a woman. So in her mind she is calculating, now there are no buses to Rashmi Vajpayee's house at this point, so they might have to stop at this place called Haldani, and they might have to stay together in a traveler's bungalow, and some things might happen between these two. So she is imagining all sorts of things that might happen, and even though she is responsible to stopping this girl, she just lets her go. Why she lets her go at this point is a question which will be answered to us later, I guess. So then we are invited to the hostel and the surroundings. We'll get to know about Vimala's surroundings and the hostel and the history of the hostel and everything. So Vimala has been dwelling in the hostel room, and her stay has been quite stagnant and uneventful. Nothing is happening around her for quite a while. So she's leading a life of inaction and boredom. Now we understand about this life of boredom or stagnancy by seeing her room. Her room is quite unkempt. She doesn't make an effort to arrange or clean her room. We can see a lot of saris are just lying on the screen there, and her calendar. This is the month of April, but her calendar is still in the month of January. So it seems that, like, she doesn't care about the passage of time. Her life is stuck somewhere in the past. That is what we understand looking at her surroundings. About the hostel, there is a cottage right next to the boarding house. The cottage is called Golden Nook. So this cottage will be rented. It is supposed to be rented out to tourists every season. Tourists who come to Nainital every season, they rent it out for the whole season. And while she's lying down in her hostel room, she reminisces about the previous occupant of the room. The previous occupant was Pushpa Sarkar. She was the hostel warden before Vimala, and she was very notorious because she was very daring. She was daring enough to let her lover into this very room at night. So being a hostel warden for a girl's hostel, she's not supposed to engage in such an activity, but she was discovered, and that actually led to her dismissal. And this happened 9 years back, and she got dismissed on the spot. And that is when Vimala came to Nainital to join as hostel warden instead of Pushpa Sarkar. So even before coming to Nainital, she heard about Pushpa Sarkar, and she was a little intimidated to see this lady. But this lady was extremely congenial and friendly to Vimala. She even advised Vimala to take the same room as her because that is the best room with the best view in the hostel. So it has been 9 years since. When Vimala first came to take charge as the hostel warden in this particular hostel, she was only 21 years old. Let's say 21 years old. Now it's been 9 years. She's beginning to start her 30s now. And she has been occupying the room ever since. Now, while she's lying down in her hostel, she gets attacked by boredom, and Vimala now decides to take a walk. And while she's walking out, she passes Amar Singh. Amar Singh is the old watchman of the boarding building, the hostel. And while she is taking a walk down to the hill station, MT successfully and very beautifully describes the beauty and charm of the hill station of Nainital. So we can see the hill station slowly transforming into the summer spirit. So it was just winter, and during winter months, Nainital looks something like this. This is very beautiful. But during winter, Nainital doesn't get many tourists. And we can see that Nainital is slowly transforming into this wonderful picture here. In summer and spring, Nainital looks like this. So we can see that the Nainital is slowly transforming into the summer spirit. We can see pine trees and birches shaking snow from their branches, and sky is actually becoming brighter. I would like to read you some descriptions by MT on the beauty of Nainital. Chaitra afternoons, when after months the hillsides were bathed in a gentle warmth. When the sun came out, silver streams could be glimpsed on the hillside where the snow had melted. Brooks gathered from yesteryear's tears. The sky cleared even as she watched. The gentle sunlight spread slowly over the hillside. The moist leaves of the huge birches lining the footpath in the valley gleamed softly. In a distance where snow and cloud lay intertwined, the grey peaks of the mountains took shape. So you can see the description of Nainital as it is slowly transitioning from winter to summer here. Winter to spring season mostly. It's not an extreme summer there. So let me read you another description as Vimala walks down the footpath to the city square of Nainital, the sights she sees. The footpath began to wind down the hill just outside the gate of the Golden Nook. If you cross the stone paved track meant for horse riders, the footpath rose higher. It was fun to look out from the spot where the path fanned into a semicircle, just above the grounds where the Pahadis, the mountain folk, performed the Ram Leela once a year. A lake that had fallen between the hills. On both sides, the red roofs of the town. The road that circled the lake in two strands. Through the trees, you can see the huge wooden hoardings across the lake, the faint April mist hanging over the lake, and the town drifted like a daydream seen sometime in the distant past. So here you can see the wonderful, exquisite beauty of Nainital captured successfully by M.T. Vasudevan Nair. We can see that Vimala is taking a walk down a footpath. She is taking in the beautiful sight of Nainital, which is slowly transitioning from winter to spring. So she feels like this particular lake is like a lake that has fallen down between the hills, literally fell down from Parvati's body. It is her eyes that has fallen down and made this beautiful lake. And another thing he says about Nainital is that there are two strands of road circling the lake. The road leading into Nainital and the road leading out of Nainital. Both are around the lake. So she can see the central square of Nainital from her vantage point as she walks down the hill from the boarding house. So another thing you have to understand about this novel is that it does not follow a linear narrative. Uh, we get to know the plot by Vimala's reminiscences. So we get glimpses into Vimala's past through her own reminiscences. And there are reminiscences within reminiscences. ഓർമ്മയുടെ അകത്തുള്ള ഓർമ്മകളും നമുക്ക് MT പങ്കുവെച്ച് തരുന്നുണ്ട്. So we can see that she goes on frequent walks into the town. She spends all her time in her hostel room. And other than the hostel room, she takes frequent walks in the town. And whenever she goes on walk, there is a beautiful description of the wonderful hill station of Nainital. And we are taken on such a walking tour taken by Vimala across the town. And through Vimala's eyes, we see the stone pavement for horse riders, an open ground where Ram Leela is usually played by uh, Pahadis. Pahadis are mountain folk. And we can also see a distant view of the beautiful lake near the buildings with red roofs. So we can definitely say that MT has captured the breathtaking sight of the town. It is always seen to be weaved in mist. Even though it is the summer season is approaching, mist is actually a constant in Nainital. മഞ്ഞ് മൂടി ഒരു മൂടൽ മഞ്ഞ് നിൽക്കുന്ന ഒരു സ്ഥലമാണ് നൈനിത്താൾ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ആ മൂടൽ മഞ്ഞ് എം ടി എപ്പോഴും അത് ഡിസ്ക്രിപ്ഷനിൽ കാണാറുണ്ട്. എം ടി അത് സക്സസ്ഫുള്ളി ക്യാപ്ചർ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. So in the next part of the novella, we can see that Vimala is further reminiscing about her past. We see that she is remembering her family and a certain person called Sudhir Kumar Misra. Who this person is an absolute mystery for us. So we are taken back and forth into Vimala's life through her own thoughts. And in that space, in the space of her memories, we can see the image of a certain person named Sudhir Kumar Misra. We don't know who this person is, but we can certainly say that he made an impact on her life. He gifted her a moment of eternal remembrance. We can say that he is a very important figure, a personage in her life. So she continues her walk down the town. She falls into further memories about her family. So it is revealed that her father, she is from a Malayali family. Her father quarreled with her family in Kerala and came away from the ancestral house in Kerala to North India. So they have been living in North India for a long time now, and they have no communication with people or relatives back home. And her father herself remembers about his village very scornfully. He doesn't like to go back to Kerala. He says that what is there? Who is there for me? He hasn't got anything back there. So she doesn't have any much memories about Kerala. So these memories about Kerala, the remembrance of Kerala is situated within a memory. As I mentioned to you, ഓർമ്മയ്ക്കകത്ത് ഓർമ്മകളുണ്ട്. There are memories within memories in this particular novella. So this particular remembrance of Kerala is located within a memory of her conversation with Sudhir Kumar Misra. So Sudhir asks her about Kerala, and that is when she tells Sudhir about her memories of Kerala. She says that she hasn't been there for 16 years. When she last went to Kerala, she was a young child of 5 or 4 or 5 years. And it's been 16 years since she has gone to Kerala. And then she remembers a conversation that happened between her and Sudhir Kumar Misra. She was only 21 years old when this particular conversation was going on. And Sudhir says that, don't worry, we will go back to Kerala as husband and wife. I will be Sudhir Kumar Misra and you will be Vimala Misra. So this is a fond memory she is remembering, which was a 9-year-old memory. She remembers this at this particular point of time. And now she walks to the side of the lake, and there she sees a lot of boats. That is part of Nainital tourism. There are all these boats which take you around the lake. She sees this array of boats. They are all inviting her to take a boat ride, but she is struck by the name of a boat. The name of the boat is Mayflower. Why she is struck by this particular boat is actually striking. There is a particular symbolism behind it. We can see that Vimala's life is all about waiting. She is waiting for springtime to come to her life. And May is a month, the peak time of spring appears in May. Maybe this boat is actually giving her hope. If she embarks on a ride on Mayflower, that can actually bring her closer to what she wants, maybe. So she walks along by the side of the lake and she's struck by this name of the boat Mayflower. Now Mayflower is steered by a young boatman. He is very young. His name is Buddhu. She asks for his name. His name is Buddhu, and she goes on this boat ride with him. And they start talking, and Buddhu says his own history. Buddha says that he was born by a relationship with a native girl from Nainital and a one-time tourist to the town. വർഷങ്ങൾക്ക് മുമ്പ് ഒരു ഫോറിനർ, there was a white guy who came to Nainital, and maybe he got into a physical relation with a native girl, and when he left the town, he left the girl pregnant, and that is how Buddhu was born. And because of his unknown white father, he's teased by all the other boatmen as Gorasa. He's fairer in complexion than the other boatmen, so he's teased by everyone using this nickname Gorasa. So secretly, Buddhu has this wish that he wants to meet his father. So why he is working as a boatman in this lake Nainital is he is hoping to see his father. He even keeps a faded photograph of his father in his inside chest pocket. So this particular photo is actually folded. It's not clear at all. It's completely faded. It's that of a young white man standing next to a horse. And it's clear that he won't be able to identify his father using this faded photograph. So he has the intention of identifying him. So he feels like one of these summers, one of these tourist seasons, his father would return to Nainital and he will be able to identify his father. He doesn't want anything to do with his father. He just wants to see his father. We can see that Buddhu also has a long wait, exactly like Vimala. Vimala is waiting for something or somebody. Buddhu is also waiting for a long time. So he has this vain hope of a union with his father, a man who might never come to the hill station. He came some 17 or 18 years before. This might be a one-time trip for him. He might never come back to this particular town. So we feel that pain of waiting in both Vimala and Buddhu. So in chapter 3 of Mist, she tells us about the date she saw Sudhir Kumar Misra for the first time, or maybe. So she says that she visited this place with Sudhir Kumar Misra on 19th May 1955. So this is actually set 9 years after that. So this is 1964. She's reminiscing about 1950s, 55, when she first came to Nainital and she had this man with her, Sudhir Kumar Misra. And now Vimala is back again. She's reflecting about herself, about her past. Now we can see that waiting is an action that happens a lot in her life. She waits relentlessly, just like Buddhu is waiting for his father. Now Vimala reminiscences about the changes that have taken place in this place in the past 9 years. She has been living in Nainital for the past 9 years. This hill station has changed a lot. So when she first came to Nainital, she was 21 years old. She had Sudhir Kumar Misra, her lover, with her. She went on a hike, a walk up a hill. This particular walking trail was named Lovers Track at that point of time. That is where lovers used to go. At the end of the Lovers Track, there was a gigantic rock. A lot of lovers' names were written on that particular rock. But today she decides to go up the trail. But now the name of the trail has changed from Lovers Track to Devil's Track. പണ്ട് ഈ ഒരു ട്രെയിലിന്റെ പേര്, ഈ ഒരു നടപ്പാതയുടെ പേര് ലവേഴ്സ് ട്രാക്ക് എന്നായിരുന്നു. ഇപ്പൊ ആ പേര് മാറി ഡെവിൾസ് ട്രാക്ക് എന്നായി. വൈ ദിസ് ഹസ് ചേഞ്ച് ടു ഡെവിൾസ് ട്രാക്ക് ഇസ് many years back, a shocking suicide of a girl happened. She jumped from this particular gigantic rock. It happened on the month of June. Ever since, the name of this particular trail was changed to Devil's Track from Lover's Track. So she remembers about her past walk up the lovers trail with Sudhir Kumar Misra. She was a 21-year-old girl, and she reflects on how she met Sudhir 5 days back. So she was coming to Nainital for the first time to take charge as a hostel warden. So she took the bus from where she was living, and she met this particular Sudhir Kumar Misra on the bus. He was sitting right next to her. They might have struck up a conversation, and that is how they became friends. And 5 days later, she walked along the lover's track with Sudhir Kumar Misra. Now we are getting glimpses into Vimala's past, and in these glimpses we get to see this particular person, Sudhir Kumar Misra, how they met, who he is. But still, he is a mystery man. We don't know everything about Sudhir Kumar Misra yet. And then she comes back to the hostel. At the hostel, she gets a letter from her brother Babu. So she actually gets two letters. Amar Singh, the watchman, brings her two letters. The first letter is from Babu, her younger brother. Now Babu wants money from her, and she feels disgust about her brother asking for money from her when he can actually work and make his own money. So the letter triggers thoughts about her family in her. Now she thinks about her family and the people in her family. So her family actually, her family lives at a 3-hour distance from this place. So they also live in North India. They live in a place that will be reached by traveling 3 hours by bus. So they are living in a house surrounded by potato plantations. Her brother Babu is now a marijuana addict. He is addicted to drugs and marijuana and all. So everyone knows that he is an addict, but they tend to ignore the fact. And his father was once an authoritarian figure in the family. He had job in the potato plantation. He was doing some research work related to that, and he was a very strict father. Everyone in the family was afraid of him, but now he has got some illness. He is bedridden. He's dependent on others for everything, and he doesn't have the power of the past. He held a lot of power as the authoritarian in the past, but now nobody minds him. So his illness has actually caused disintegration in the family. Her mother is having an affair with someone named Mr. Gomez. Everyone knows this, but no one is saying it out loud. Brother is falling into wayward ways. He is given into drugs and marijuana and all. And he is in company with a very dubious crowd. And she has a younger sister, Anita. Anita has also become a flirt. She is flirting with the men in the locality. Now, this setting was too much for Vimala to handle. She wanted to escape from the clutches of her family, from the boundaries established by her family. That might be why, at the age of 21, she found this job and tried to escape from her family by traveling to Nainital. And on this particular journey, she met her future lover, Sudhir Kumar Misra. And in that particular letter, she even reads that her sister invites her to come home for vacation. Now that it is vacation, she can easily go home, but she chooses to stay in the boarding house because the mere thought of going home is too much for Vimala. She is feeling disgusted about going back home. And she mentally notes that the day she goes back to the house will be a day some mishap would come to her family, like a death or something happens to her family. Only then will she go back to her family. That's what she decides here. So let's stop this class here. I want to teach you this novel in 3 parts. So that I can read some descriptions and all for you in between. So right now we have learned the premise of this particular novel. This novel is in non-linear narrative. It progresses through Vimala's reminiscences about her past. We get glimpses about her family, about Sudhir Kumar Misra, about her job in this particular town as a school teacher and a hostel warden. So we understand the premise of this particular novel now. and let us read this novel in further classes and videos to come. So thank you for watching video till end, and hope it was beneficial to you in understanding empty and the premise of this novel. Thanks once again. Have a nice day. Bye.